of Spades. Now the thread I'm going to be using is a Uni 80. You could use a 60, it's up to yourself, both will do. Just touch and turns and quickly run your thread down the shank, right until you're in line with the bar by the hook. Okay, just break it away, cut away, it's up to yourself. Now I'm going to put 2 ribs on this. One is for, well, obviously for the colour of the fly, and one is to actually tie in or hold down the wing. And the wire I'm going to use for that to hold down the wing. The main tinsel rib is the flat silver tinsel. Again, just tie it onto the, actually single turn or 2 to hold. But usually what I do is, before I do anything else, is make sure these are tied in. Take the thread all the way down. Makes a better fly, stronger fly. Just run your way down to this point here. Now this is your measure there, this is your head size just about there where your throat and your wing is going to be tied in. You must leave at least 2 to 3 mil. 3 mil I would in this size of fly anyway. Now for the body I'm going to be using, you could, traditionally it was just a black chenille. This is a black chenille, but it's got a shinier fibre in it, meaning a translucent fibre. Much the same thickness as you would get in a chenille. You see it's shiny. It works well. But I'm not the world's, I'm not a great fan of chenille, I hate the stuff to be honest with you. But times if it's in the fly then you've got to use it. Anyway, on the way down I tied it in as you see, and the way back up, bring your thread to the point where you're actually going to be tying off your body and tying in your wing and so. First thing I'd bring up, is the last thing I put on there was the chenille. Just touch and turns, wind it up. You can fold back the fibres as you go. Makes for a better body if you do this. All the way up. This point here. Across your thread. 3 or 4 turns ties it down. And trim away your waste. Now your main rib is the flat silver tinsel. Just rib it up through. Now this is why I don't like chenille. Tying over it, your rib will want to go its own way because it's a lumpy body as we say. But that there is not too bad. Once you get to the top here, just stroke any fibres that may go forward of your rib, just bring it up. Makes it much tidier. Bring your thread to the back. A good few turns in there. Now I was going to use my scissors there, but don't with the tinsel. Just break it off. And then tidy up. Now the wing is made up. Now you can use 3 or 4, usually to balance it you'd have 2 each side, hen hackles dyed black. And what you've got to do is line them up. See how it's sitting. Sometimes wee curves in the hackle, you've just got to manipulate them in your own way to get them to sit. Now for the tail you're looking for the full length of the body there. What I like to do is take away the fibres from the underside. So there's my length, so I put the tail in my finger and thumb, and I take the fibres from the underside of the hackle and trim them away, or just pull them away. Okay, that's to help form your wing, your Matuka wing. Just lie it along the back, look at your length, once you're happy, again up here, open them out, get them to sit properly. Pinch a loop on the top just to hold nice and tight. I would take it really, go a good few turns in there because you don't want it to move. Trim away the waste and really tidy up. Now your rib to secure the wing is the wire. All you do is bring it up alongside the tinsel, but what you've got to do is open up the fibres in the area where it's actually going to be caught in. So you just lift these fibres straight up, bring the wire through. This is the part most people dread doing. Just nice and tight. Again, leave us open a space for it to go through as you wind up. Just take your time, just changing hands as you go. This is it's really a fiddly bit of doing it, but you can end up with a really nice wing if you take your time. Get to the front and do a full turn, straight turn, like that. It's like a locking turn, as you might call it. Bring it straight up at the back and then put a 90-degree bend into the wire. And then run your thread right down, making sure this is secure. Bend and break this off. Bring the thread back up. Now at this point just check your tail and your wing and what have you, see how it's sitting. And you can't go back anyway, but it's nice to have a look at it. That's okay, I'm quite happy with that. Now for the throat, I'm going to use some Guinea Fowl. All I've got here is some Guinea Fowl that I've trimmed away. This is a tip. I've taken away the point. Don't necessarily have to do it this way, it's just because it's sitting. This forms a nice throat. Just pinch your loop, take it to the underside, and you can go like this, underneath. And then just a loose turn, really all that is. And then tighten up with 2 or 3 more. And that's your throat. Just a wee touch long, so what I'm going to do is pull it. And tighten up again. I'm seeing it's just a wee bit too long, so go back. Always go back. You can go back if you're not happy. If you're not happy with a fly, you'll not fish it. Get the length right. Nice and pinch and loop. There we go. That's a better length. Trim away the waste, making sure the thread's out of the way before you trim. Tidy up again. Nice and tight. Now for the wing it's bronze mallard. Now what you do is, you can have a right and a left, but basically for a fishing fly you don't need that. What you do is get enough fibre, pull it 90 degrees or so from the stem of the feather. And what you're really looking to do is actually to line up these tips. Once the tips are lined up, tear it off. Okay, and then you set it on top. Now the length of the wing is entirely up to you. It could be slightly longer. It's an individual preference. I like it as like you'd put a normal wing on a fly, which is just probably to the back of the hook, which is there. Now you get it on the top, sitting so that you've got enough fibres that are going to be on cover each side. And you get your finger and thumb and come in. Keep it close to the body as you can. You don't want a space between your fingers, the material and the body. If you form a loop and there's too much of a space, it will just go over it once. That way you're under more control of the fibres. Trim away the waste. Now bring your thread to the front and build the thread turns from the front up. This is like forming steps, which allows the next turn to be pushed up. You end up with a nice head if you do that. Again, just make sure the head's nice and clean. If it's not clean, you go to varnish it, you end up with lumps and bumps. That looks okay. You can lower the wing slightly by just pushing it forward of the eye and bringing it back. That's it. And then straight in wet finish. Now you probably need a couple of coats of varnish on this, so obviously once this is dry, put another one on it. Now I'm using a brush to apply the varnish. You can use a needle if you want, it's up to you. All the way around. Make sure you get enough varnish on the brush. To get you all the way around. If you're happy.